a little bit of a stretch. Let's try to get on it. Yeah. Go for another pull. Hey guys, welcome to Red 50. Today we're going to be doing a long-term review for the E85 tune on my Mustang GT. As you guys know, I've been tuned on E85. I guess you could say long-term. It's been almost 6 months since I've had this tune, and there's definitely been some pros and cons. So I want to cover those pros and cons in this video, the benefits and some of the downsides that you get for tuning your Mustang on the E85. So we're going to go ahead and get out on the road so we can do some driving clips as well and really tell you the power difference. I mean, that's, you know, one of the things people want to do this because you want to get the power increase. And with this E85 or on Gen 3 Coyote, at least, you don't need anything, no injectors or anything. You just need a E85 tune, and that's exactly what I did. I don't have any supporting mods because you don't need it, and it's probably the best bang for your buck in terms of getting the power, but of course it comes with its downsides. All right, so let's get in the car so we can be out on the road and talk about it. Let's fire her up. Oh yeah. That's definitely a downside with the fuel being low. And I think you just kind of know it if you're going to do E85 tune, that gas mileage is definitely going to be terrible. But we're going to talk a little bit more into it because that's probably one of the downsides that's not as fun as you would think it is. Everyone knows the gas mileage is going to suffer, but I'll share my gas mileage real quick. So we'll click here. Let's see, trip fuel. There we go. So I've driven about 1,600 miles so far, and you can see the gas mileage at 13.1 miles per gallon. Don't get me wrong, the power difference is good, but 13.1 miles per gallon, that's pretty much boost miles per gallon. Like if I was supercharged something, I would expect to get 13-14 miles per gallon, not when I'm NA. In terms of the power difference, you're gonna see about 25 to 30 wheel horsepower according to Lund Racing, and a lot of dyno clips that I saw before I got the tune. So over a 93 tune, you'll pick up another 25-30 wheel horsepower, which honestly is definitely noticeable. We're gonna get out on the road so you can kind of feel the difference. And so while the miles per gallon is kind of low at 13 miles per gallon, you do get a pretty good power difference, and it's a lot cheaper than going long tube headers or going boost. All right, so we're out on the road and we're gonna do some pulls as well. As you guys do know, I was tuned by Lund Racing 93 tune as well. So it kind of allows me to see the actual difference versus their 93 tune and the E85 tune. And I've done a first impression video, but that can be a little bit skewed because you just feel the power difference right away. But I've been tuned for almost 6 months now. So let's see what the difference is, if it still manages to put a smile on my face. All right, a little bit of a stretch. Let's try to get on it. Yeah. This manages to put a smile on my face. As you can see, there was a struggle with the traction because getting a little bit cold, so tires are not what they were when I had it in the summer. So it's definitely going to be a little bit different, but oh my God, it just goes. Let's go for another pull. Yeah, the E85's got a pretty strong pull. There's no doubt. Like compared to the 93 tune, once you get to the mid-range, the car really feels strong. It just wants to pull. And I've been to a drag strip too, so I felt the difference. Like I was doing about 12.4 on, you know, the all-season tires. I currently have the 285 wide tires on the 93 tune, and I thought I was pretty much tapped out. I needed more traction, but once I got to the E85 tune, I was considering flat 12s, and that is pretty impressive for an all-season tire car. Now, of course, if I go with the better tire, because I was trapping, I want to say 122 miles per hour or so. So if I go ahead with the better tires, like not even a radial, just a good sticky summer tire, I would probably be easily seeing mid 11s or at least high 11s with that kind of trap speed, 112, 122 miles per hour. Biggest thing that a lot of people overlook with these E85 tunes is, yes, the power difference is there. You get about 25 to 30 horsepower extra. And you can definitely feel that when you're doing pulls. Like right now, I obviously have the traction control on because, like I said, it's getting a little bit cold. But I've done these pulls without traction control being on, and you can tell it really pulls strong without breaking traction. But honestly, the biggest difference that I really enjoyed is having the ability to have more power down low. I think E85, because it increases the timing, it moves the power curve a little bit down low. As you know, the Coyotes, they don't really come alive until you're at like 3,500, 4,000 RPM, which is good because a high revving V8 and it's very unique. But if you're just driving around town trying to have a little bit of fun, it feels a little sluggish. But with the E85 tune, power, I want to say, comes, I don't know, 2,800 RPM or so, 3,000 RPM, and you really feel that. So if you're doing partial pulls, you feel the pull with the E85 coming a lot sooner than it would with the 93 tune. And to me, like, yes, the gas mileage is bad. You get about 13 miles per gallon, and it's not fun to have that kind of poor gas mileage. But having the ability to do the E85 tune and be able to feel the power day to day, because 25-30 horsepower, unless you're racing, you're not going to feel it from your day-to-day driving. So I was like, why do I have to bother getting really bad fuel economy just for 25-30 miles per gallon before I got this tune? But when I got a tune, I understood. I mean, just daily driving this car, feeling a little bit more get up and go than you did with the 93 tune, it was a pretty drastic difference. And I really enjoyed these past 6 months driving on this E85 tune. It wasn't one, obviously, going to gas station a lot more frequently, so that to me is like the biggest drawback. Yes, you've got 13 miles per gallon and you're gonna spend a little bit more on the gas, but because the Mustang tank size is about 16 miles or 16 gallons, you're kind of stuck with, you know, having to go to the gas station a lot more frequently. So I had to plan my trips a lot more than I did with 93 tune. So that was definitely one of the biggest downsides I experienced with it. But honestly, the power difference, especially day to day, is really worth it. So in conclusion, is the E85 worth it on your Gen 3 Coyote motor? I think if you're looking strictly from the power standpoint, it is definitely worth it. You get about 25-30 horsepower extra, and the car feels a lot more responsive down low. So even if you're daily driving the car, it's just gonna feel a lot more responsive and make it a lot more fun to drive. And that to me is the part that I really enjoy the most. Not the 25-30 horsepower I see at the peak, but daily driving the car and having the power down low, that makes it a lot more fun to drive than I had with the 93 tune. But of course, it does come with a downside. Here, constantly at the gas station, filling up the gas, you know, with the E85, and I personally always test it as well. I found this gas station that has been consistently E85 or E80-ish, but I still have my tester, so every time I go fill it up, I test it just to make sure. It takes me a couple extra minutes, but I just test it to make sure. But adding all of that and the inconvenience of having to stop at the gas station, it really depends on what kind of driving you do. If you're just strictly looking to have some runs in Mexico, then that would be one thing, because you get the full power difference and you really enjoy it. If you've got E85 station near you, that's always E85. You don't have to test it. That's going to be good. If you're like me, where you're actually daily driving the car, you might enjoy the power difference, but over time, the inconvenience of having to always go to the gas station and always having to fill up using the tester just kind of gets old at times. So especially now that it's getting cold, I don't really use the extra benefit of the E85, so I might switch back to 93 at least for the winter and then put it back on spring. So I think it honestly depends on you. If you are someone who's constantly racing and want to feel every bit of power, especially if you've got long tube headers, I think go for E85, and I've had a really good experience with it. But if you have a commute, if you're driving a lot, then I don't think it makes sense for you to switch to E85 and constantly stopping at the gas station every couple of days. But for me, it's like every week or so I don't mind it as much. And honestly, the power difference has been incredibly well. So now I'm thinking if I should get the long tube headers or the boost route with going the ESS. So those are definitely, if I do ESS, I'll probably stick to 93 because I definitely don't want to deal with E85 on boost, even though I'll make a lot of power. But if I can't hook, there's no point of it. But if I do long tube headers, I'll pick up another 30 horsepower or so, which would be really beneficial. So let's see where I go with this car. But in my opinion, just going E85, even for the interim period, was really good. And I really enjoyed it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video on the review of, somewhat of a long-term review on the E85 on the Gen 3 Coyotes. I'll catch you guys in the next video.